against you. You have lost what? Your first love. You have lost your first love. And unless you return, I'm going to come and I'll remove the candlesticks from that place. And we're talking about what? Going back to basics. Going back to basics. And God here is trying to tell the church in Laodicea that you need to go back to the starting point. Yes, you are doing things for me. Yes, you are doing things in my name. But you are no longer doing it the way you are supposed to do it. We are now just like the rich young ruler. You remember if you read Matthew chapter 19, Jesus speaks about the rich young ruler. He comes to him and says, what is it that I need to do to enter the kingdom of heaven? Before even he was told everything, he says, I have already observed all the 10 commandments. I know them by head. I know them from my heart. I can say them all right now, without any question, without any hesitation. Nervousness. I didn't even see the mic was off. I'm very nervous. But anyway. The richer ruler, yes. So he says what? He tells him, no, I have observed all the 10 commandments. But when God told him to go back to the basics, he realized that, no, man, I've been playing myself all this time. He was doing it just so that people can see. He was doing it so that he can be able to say, I have observed the 10 commandments. I have done everything. I come to church each and every day. I worship, I pray. But are you doing it out of love? No. You're doing it so that people can say, if you want someone who can pray, there's Sister Natasha there. She'll pray for you. But are you having communication with God? We are talking about sleep. Some of us, we are being told if we ask today who slept, all of us will say we slept. But how many of us had quality sleep? It is not just a matter of closing our eyes. It is not just a matter of putting our heads on the pillow and closing our eyes. It's a matter of having quality sleep. Psalm chapter 127 verse 2 says, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Someone was asked how many hours do we sleep, and we were told, the answer was saying what? It depends on who you are. You can do all things that you say, all answers and everything, but what does God require us to do? How does God require us to sleep? Here it says it is vain for us to rise up so early and sleep late just so that we can feed our bellies. It is in vain because God is going to provide for us. Psalm 4 verse 8 says, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only makes me dwell in safety. Peaceful sleep comes from God. It's a gift that God gives you. Peaceful sleep is what? Is a gift from God. It's not something that you just have. A lot of people have got all the money in this world, but they can hardly sleep. I don't know if you remember Michael Jackson. He was being given medication just so that he could sleep. But he had everything in his, all the money that you can think of. So what is short? What is short? God does not want us to just have money. He does not want us to have everything in this world. He also wants us to have perfect health. In actual fact, He wants us to have more health than anything else. Are we having peaceful sleep? And you know, sometimes having a sleepless night because we are fearing is a sign that we do not trust God. That is going to get us out of this problem. It's a sign that I'm saying, God, you are not good enough to take me out of this problem. So let me try and find a solution that I want, that I see is going to be the best position. A solution that we all know is never going to work for us. Sometimes sleeping peacefully is just a fact, or knowing in your head that someone is there with me and is going to protect me. Children sleep peacefully because they know that we always tell them that don't worry, if anything happens, we are always there. I will be there, and they'll sleep peacefully. God tells us the same thing, but we do not trust that. I remember the other time I was about to travel. Actually, I was about to come this side, and then my aunt was like, you have to go and bid farewell to your grandfather before you come this side, so that he knows you are coming, and your journeys will be blessed. And then I was like, okay, that's fine. So I had to get a bus, travel to the rural areas. Now, I get there, my grandfather was staying alone, and I had to go and sleep in another place, another room, separate to where he was sleeping. And I was so afraid, because now I'm thinking, hey, I have the whole house to myself, and there's nothing. If I scream, he might not even hear me. What will happen? I'm just nervous. And then the helper that was there had a little child. I think they were about 4 or 5 years. And then my aunt gave me a very small, tiny phone. I remember, I know some of you know the Nokia 3310s. Just a one game with a snake that goes. And I had to bribe this child to come sleep with me with this phone. And I slept peacefully. What was this child going to do? Sometimes it's just that there is someone that is there. When you are sleeping and you feel there is someone there, you sleep. But we forget that as Christians. And what do? We do not trust God. God is not like this little child. He's the Almighty. He's able to take out any problem that we have. Yet we do not trust, and we end up failing to sleep. When we fail to sleep, we start stressing that we did not sleep, and we wake up tomorrow, we are tired, we're making mistakes at work, at school, and wherever. And I remember this other time, this other friend of mine when we were in university did an all-nighter. I think it was 2 days, because he was scared of this exam. And then go to the exam, you are given 5-minute reading time, isn't it? So he's going through the papers, and then the 5 minutes finished, you can't start writing because your 5 minutes is not yet up. And then he decided, let me say a little prayer. And that was it. Gone. That was it. And unfortunately, they don't wake you up. Now he had 2 nights of all nights, just so that he could sleep in an exam. How do you explain that to your parents? How do you live with yourself after that? And say, I failed because I slept. Trusting God to help you in anything will give you peaceful sleep wherever you are. That is why even when he was in the ship, when the storm was raging, everyone else was crying, but he was sleeping. Not because he was not afraid, but because he knew nothing will happen as long as my Father is with me. How many of us are trusting God that this little problem that I have, God is there with me. God will protect me. And if we do not do that, we are never going to have a peaceful sleep. Now, what is sleep? We have already had a lot of definitions that are there. that we've been given, and they did a very good job from the morning. And here it says that sleep is a state in which consciousness is lost, and it becomes more difficult to arouse this sleeper by sensory stimulation, along with reduced motor function. So that's just what definition of sleeping. You are closing your eyes, you are letting your body to be unconscious about everything else around you. You are not worried about anything when you are sleeping. You worry is only when you are awake. You worry because you are awake. That's why one of the speakers here said sleeping is like a drunkard. You forget about your sorrows. You forget about everything. And when you sleep properly, when you wake up, you are more fresh and ready to take the bull by its horns. Why is it important to sleep? You know, during sleep, the body goes through a number of growth and repairs. It's more like a software update. You know, with a computer, when you're connected to the internet, it updates itself, and then after some time at night, you have to switch it off so that it completely saves everything and updates. I hope I'm explaining it the proper way for those that are IT gurus. But with human beings now, it's the same thing. When we sleep, there's hormones that are released, different types of hormones that do different types of things. And these hormones work hand in hand to repair your body and refresh you and make you feel better when you wake up. And some of the diseases that we are having these days can simply be solved by sleeping. My wife is always laughing at me when I have a headache, I go to sleep. She's like, just take tablets, take it later, let me sleep right. And she's so frustrated. You are suffering. Take medication. I'm like, it's fine, I'll take it. Let me sleep. I try and sleep it out. If it doesn't work, then I try and do something else. But the first thing, I sleep it out. Sometimes we are sick, not because there is something wrong. Well, there is something wrong, but our major concern or our major thing is that we are not sleeping. Sleep restores things that might be going wrong in our bodies. Some of these processes influence elements of a person's physical appearance, including skin and hair. Now I think I'm talking to ladies. We are always buying these fancy chemicals to lift our skin, make the skin firmer. We need our hair to be strong, so that when we are walking, you can do that. You know, it gives you that glow. So you want that glow. We always say that glow. But you know, if you get proper sleep, you can get that glow without any additional things. It can come all because of sleep. And I remember someone was saying, some of us are not sleeping properly. It's because we just lack love. When you are really loved, you will sleep. But you know, God gave us love. We're just not accepting it. That is why we are not sleeping. And that is why we are having problems that we are having today. So sleeping will reduce your wrinkles. Sleeping what? Reduce your wrinkles. One potential benefit of a beauty sleep may be reducing wrinkles. The skin is made up of several proteins such as collagen, elastin, that make the skin elastic and flexible. And because of this stress that we have during the day and everything, because of the sun that is always pumping, hitting our skin, it sort of like stretches too much and then it becomes loose and soggy and everything. So sleep will try and help regenerate this, and then when you wake up with a firmer skin, fresher, and to be looking better. And also our immune system, it needs to be boosted. How does it get boosted? These hormones that are being released are going to make your body will be in that state where it's sort of like re-energizes itself, and the white blood cells and everything regroup, and they come and say, okay, we are ready to fight for the next day so that we can protect you. So the immune system is also generated or made stronger when you sleep, because of these hormones that are being released. So that's why I say sickness that we're having, the diseases that we're suffering today can be solved if we sleep. This does not just change overnight, or when you are now an adult, like, oh, let me start sleeping. It starts from a young age. We need to have regular sleep patterns where we sleep. Here it says a study was done with Korean women that were in their 40s. And it was found that changes occurred after just 1 day of sleep deprivation. Just 1 day. If you don't sleep properly in one night, there was significant changes that were there. Elasticity of the skin or its ability to bounce back and be firmer was lost significantly. It reduced significantly. So if you don't sleep over time, you end up people asking, are you sure you're 30? You know? Why? Because you're not sleeping. Some of these things can be sorted by sleeping. Let's have a regular habit of sleeping properly. At night, the skin has its highest level of blood flow, which increases the temperature and helps repair the damaged skin that would have been damaged through the UV light and everything that would be and during work when we're sweating and all the lights. Late bedtime is associated with decreased skin hydration, increased water loss, and increased production of oily secretions, which can lead to some of the acne problems that we might be facing. So when we sleep, we're just allowing the body to try and give itself quality time to repair and rebuild itself. How do we get regular sleep? As we have already had, keep a regular sleeping schedule. You want to sleep at proper times and regular times. Waking up and going to bed at consistent times each day, including weekends, ensures your sleep schedule is not disrupted. Sometimes we want to sleep early because we want to wake up tomorrow morning very early. And then during the weekends, because we want to lie down, we say, we can sleep even at 5 a.m. because there's nothing more. But already you're disrupting your body. We have heard that certain hormones are released at certain times. And if you are not sleeping and you've got light coming in, those hormones are not going to be released. And if they are not released, you're going to have problems. One of them is melatonin. It's not going to be released. And if you're not going to get it released, a whole lot of cascade of problems are going to come your way. Create a quality sleep environment. We have already been told, cell phones, if it was possible, just keep your cell phones in the bedroom. It's not outside the bedroom. Charge them in the sitting room so that you don't have distractions, because that little light, sometimes even that sound of a beeping message that is coming through can disturb you throughout. Once you wake up and you see and light gets into your eyes, the melatonin levels goes all the way down, and all the processes of regeneration and rejuvenation that's supposed to happen stops. Even when you go back to sleep, it does not continue. So you are the same as someone who did not sleep, even though you slept. But because you did not give your body enough time to sleep. So you need to make sure that you have got a good environment that is quiet, that is dark, and that is cool for you to, so that, because we said the blood vessels are closer and your skin is going to perspire. So you need something that is cool so that your sleep can be peaceful as possible. Accessories that reduce noise and light distraction should be used. So that's why you find some people sleep with masks on their face, others they put earplugs. Maybe just to avoid noise from snoring partners and the likes. Put away all electronics, because you know sometimes when a message comes through, there's that urge to just say, maybe it's important. Let me just take a look, you know. Maybe it's important, and once you see that light, that's it, it's gone. And you need to exercise regularly. Exercise is very important. But it says here, avoid exercising a few hours before you sleep. Avoid exercising a few hours before sleep. I will repeat. Avoid exercising a few hours before you sleep. Avoid exercising a few hours before you sleep. Frequent exercises offers many benefits, including easier to fall asleep because you'll be tired, and you stay asleep because you're exhausted. But why we say you should not exercise just before you sleep? Your heart rate needs to be normal when you go to sleep. Exercise will keep your heart rate very high, and you won't be able to sleep properly. Now, I did an analogy between quality sleep and lack of sleep. What is it? What are the benefits of the two? And if you've got quality sleep, as I have said, you've got firmer skin and healthier skin. Whereas if you don't sleep properly, you're going to have wrinkles. Of course, we are all going to have wrinkles as we age, but you are not going to have them at an early stage. You are going to have a beautiful skin tone because the melatonin is going to be assisting you to regenerate everything. But here, if you don't sleep properly, you're going to have a pale skin, and your skin is going to be looking very unhealthy. Your eyelids are going to be firm and tighter, but when you don't sleep, they're going to be droopy and hanging eyelids. Increased production of growth hormones. That is why you find children, when young children, we need them to sleep, like the newborns, they sleep 16 to 18 hours if I'm not mistaken. Because they still need to grow. They have to sleep a lot. And while they are sleeping, that's when growth hormones are produced. And they will help also with the muscle regeneration and rebuilding of the cells. But if you don't have quality sleep, you are going to impede all these processes. It strengthens the immune system if you've got quality sleep. If you don't, it's the opposite. And you would have decreased stress hormones and regulation of hormones because you have quality sleep. So melatonin is not just a hormone that is used to sleep, but it also helps or released primarily by the pineal gland in response to darkness. So this hormone is mostly released at night. So you saying I'll do an all-night and I'll sleep during the day does not really equate to sleeping at night. Why? Because this hormone is only released in response to what? To light or darkness, should I say. So in the dark, you get melatonin. And then when the sun is up, you release what is called cortisol. And this is what is going to help you to wake up and to be able to do your normal things. And if you do not have this melatonin, that's when you start having mood swings, you start having mood changes and everything. Your immune system is never going to be proper. And the cortisol that I spoke about is used in regulating your body, your wakefulness, should I say, so that you can be able to wake up. And if you have got low cortisol in the morning, that's why you find there are some people that when you wake them up in the morning, they are all droopy, they don't want to sleep, they need about 30 minutes to an hour before they can really wake up. You ask them anything, they cannot really tell you what's happening, they're still in that sleep mode. They need it to increase. So cortisol, it works in that it needs to be high in the morning. All right. And we also really get growth hormones. We've already spoken about that. So sleep is going to improve your memory and your learning. If you sleep properly, you're going to improve memory, retention, and you're going to learn faster. It strengthens your immune system, supports health. We have spoken about all those things. And above all, Psalm 121 verse 4 says, "Behold, he that keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep." We serve a God that does not sleep. We serve a God that is always awake. We serve a God that is always looking after us. So we do not need to have sleepless nights because someone is looking after us. In my case, that was the little child. I was feeling safe because there was someone. But here we are, we've got someone even bigger than this little child who is there protecting us, who does not just protect our physical being, but can also protect our spiritual being. It is only God who can do with all-nighters. It is only God who can go for days without sleeping. Yes, you might think you're a workaholic. You love your job so much and you cannot do without it. Your company might drown if you do not work on this project. Or maybe you might lose your job if you do not do what you are supposed to do. But if you do not sleep, you are going to pay it one way or the other. And I can promise you one thing. As the healthcare professionals who will be there and telling you that we need 5,000 for your services, just for something that you could have got for free. Imagine having to pay so much money each and every month, day and month, for something that you can get for free. God gave us a free gift. It's simple and free. Sleeping, quality sleep. Today I want to encourage each and every one of you, young and old, that sleeping is not a luxury. Sleep is not luxury. It's a necessity. Sleeping is just as vital as eating. If you do not eat, you're going to have muscle dystrophy. If you do not sleep, you're still going to have muscle dystrophy. So today I am encouraging someone today to say, find it in your heart. Make it your mission to say, from today onwards, I need to have quality sleep, regardless of all the problems that are there. And remember one thing, that God will be able to take care of your problems. You don't need to worry. The Bible tells me that out of your worry, or by you worrying, do you add a single day to your life? No, you don't. Look at the sparrows. They never harvest. They never harvest for saving, but yet each and every day they are alive. Look at the flowers and the lilies. God protects them. How much more will He protect you? How much more will He do good for you? Today, purpose it in your heart to say, I'm going to get that quality sleep that I'm supposed to have. Go back to the basics of sleeping your full quarter of sleep so that you do not have any problems. Because tomorrow, I can promise you, you are going to pay for it, financially and also physically. Yes, it's busy at work. Yes, it's very important, but you need to remember one thing. You work yourself so much. And as one of the pastors said, your children do not have somewhere where they can pull a CV to say, let's look for another mother, let's look for another father. Sleep while you still can. Yes, I'm not saying sleep as if you're competing with the dead. You need to sleep just enough so that you can rejuvenate your body, so that you can rejuvenate your senses, so that you can strengthen your immune system, just as God intended. That is why He even gave us the Sabbath to rest. He knows we need rest. That quality time to rest and give ourselves to the Maker. May the good Lord bless the reading of His word. Amen. Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father who art in heaven, for many years we have been taking sleep lightly, but you have reminded us today that it is very vital and very important. Help us, Lord, to be able to take this seriously, and help us, Lord, to also find time, quality time, not only to sleep, but also to commune with you, so that we can, as we rejuvenate and reprocess our immune system physically, we can also rejuvenate our spirit so that we can fly high like eagles. Renew our minds each and every day, Lord, and help us, Lord, to always find quality time to sleep and to rejuvenate.